Let me tell y'all something and listen close, 'cause what I'm about to say might just shift how you see this entire world stage. See, there was a time, oh yeah, there was a time, when America used to play this little balancing act. One foot in Pakistan, the other testing the waters with India, playing both sides like a poker hand, acting like they didn't have a favorite. But let me be real with you. That game, it's over. That mask. It slipped. The truth, the real reason America chose India over Pakistan, is way deeper than folks think. Now, don't get it twisted. This ain't about hate. This ain't about who's better or who's not. This is about reality, cold, calculated, strategic reality. America didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, let's roll with India. No, no, no. They watched, they measured, they waited. And while Pakistan was busy playing checkers, India was mastering chess. Let's start from the beginning. You see, America don't invest in weakness. They invest in potential. They put their money where the future's headed, not where the past is stuck. And Pakistan, man, it's been stuck in that past for decades. Wrapped up in military rule, religious politics, internal instability, and dancing with the dark side. Terror elements, corruption, double games. And you expect the world's biggest superpower to keep betting on that. India, on the other hand, India didn't just knock on the world's door. They built their own door and kicked it open. While others were busy blaming the world for their problems, India was solving theirs. Education, technology, defense, economy. India went from being the underdog to a global player without asking for a damn handout. And America saw that. Oh, trust me, they saw it. They saw over 1 billion people working, striving, moving. Hungry for more, hungry to lead. Now let's talk economics, 'cause money talks and everything else walks. Pakistan's economy, fragile, debt-ridden, bailout, dependent, every few years IMF, China, Saudi Arabia, hat in hand. But India is a $4 trillion economy and climbing. Foreign investment pouring in, tech hubs booming, startups exploding. You think America's looking to prop up a liability or partner with an asset. Come on now. That decision ain't even close, and let's talk tech. Because if the Cold War was about nukes, this war is about chips and clicks. Silicon Valley ain't just about the U.S. It's Indian engineers, Indian brains, Indian CEO. You can't touch a piece of global tech without running into Indian talent. Pakistan didn't build that, India did. And America respects builders, but here's where it gets even realer. Geopolitics. Oh yeah, the global chessboard. See, America ain't just thinking about now. They're thinking 10 moves ahead. And guess who's sitting right next to China? India. That's right. India's the neighbor China can't ignore, the rival they can't shake off. America looked at India and saw the perfect counterweight to China's rising power. Not a puppet, not a pawn, a partner. And Pakistan, too close, too cozy, too compromised by Beijing. Oh, and don't get me started on terrorism. After 9/11, America ain't playing with that word anymore. And when Osama bin Laden was found just a short drive from a Pakistani military academy, let me tell you, that was the moment. That was the moment the trust snapped like a twig. The world watched. America watched. And the whispers turned to questions, and those questions turned into silence. And silence in diplomacy, that's just code for we're done talking. Meanwhile, India was growing, not just economically, but diplomatically. Building bridges, not burning them. Joining Quad with Japan, Australia, and the U.S., strengthening ties with Europe, Africa, Middle East, playing smart, not loud. While Pakistan was shouting about Kashmir every time they had a mic, India was out there signing trade deals, investing in space, sending missions to the moon. That's right, the moon and America. Oh, America pays attention to who's touching the stars. But let me drop a truth bomb on you. This ain't just about policies and alliances. This is about vibe. Yeah, I said it. Vibe, energy, spirit. India got that hustle, that grind, that ambition. America saw a mirror because both nations were built on struggle, on diversity, on the idea that you can rise no matter where you start. There's a connection in that kind of chaos turned opportunity. Pakistan's narrative been stuck in blame. They did this, they did that. But India's been saying, watch us do this. And don't underestimate how the world views democracy. Now India ain't perfect. Far from it. They got their challenges, their divisions, their arguments, but guess what? That's what democracy looks like. Messy, loud, alive. Pakistan's democracy, always on life support. One military general away from a silent coup. One court ruling away from chaos. America don't like that uncertainty. They don't trust it. They won't build on it, and here's another hard truth. Media, perception, narratives. India owns its story even when it's complicated. It's got Bollywood, billion-dollar cricket, global CEO world-class universities, and spiritual influence. It exports culture, thought, leadership. Pakistan mostly exports problems, fear, and political instability. America knows perception shapes policy, and in that arena, India's winning hands down. Now, I know some folks will cry foul. They'll say, oh, but we were allies once. That's true, once. But time don't stop for old loyalties. It moves with value, with growth, with vision. You can't just wave a flag and expect the world to salute if the ground beneath your flag is sinking. America chose India not because India begged, not because India needed, but because India earned it. Earned it through decades of reform, resilience, and relentless progress. And Pakistan, well, it's still fighting shadows it created. But here's the part no one tells you. This shift, it wasn't personal. It was inevitable, because in the new world, strength ain't just in soldiers. It's in software. Power ain't just in weapons. It's in wisdom and dominance that comes from development. Pakistan had a chance, several chances, but every time it chose shortcuts, military over education, extremism over inclusion, reaction over strategy. Meanwhile, India kept grinding, kept climbing. It turned every setback into a setup, every insult into fuel. And today, America's handshake with India ain't just symbolic. It's strategic. It ain't about friendship, it's about the future. And let me tell you something real blunt. Nobody waits forever. The world doesn't have time for countries still debating their identity while others are defining the future. America saw a nation with clarity and chose it. India's not just a partner, it's a player. A power, a presence that demands attention, not by force, but by foundation. You want to know the real reason? It's because India showed up. India stood up. India leveled up. And when the world turned to look, India didn't flinch. Now, that don't mean the story's over for anyone. Pakistan could still rise, but only if it stops looking in the rear, you mirror and starts paving a new road. One built on education, peace, innovation, unity. That's the only way back to relevance, because the future don't belong to those who shout the loudest. It belongs to those who build the most. So when people ask, why did America choose India? Tell them it wasn't about betrayal. It was about belief, belief in progress, belief in power that's earned, belief in potential that's proven. America didn't just make a choice, it followed the future, and right now, that future's got the tricolor flying high. This shift wasn't personal, it was inevitable based on who earned the future. That's the kind of truth people don't always want to hear, but it's the one that shapes the world. See, when you look at geopolitics, it's not about who cries the loudest or who's been an ally the longest. It's about who's moving forward. It's about who's laying down bricks instead of excuses. And in this race toward the future, there comes a point when even your closest friends have to admit you've been lapped. That's what happened with America and Pakistan. It wasn't personal, it wasn't emotional, it was strategic, it was inevitable. Let's be honest, the future has no room for stagnation, no space for a country that's caught in the loop of its own history. While one nation kept pointing fingers, the other kept pointing forward. Pakistan's story has been haunted by coups, conflicts, and contradictions. Every time progress knocked, politics slammed the door shut. And what does the future do with that kind of environment? It passes it by. Because the future demands innovation, education, vision, and a commitment to building institutions that outlive individual leaders. And that's where India made its mark. India didn't just show the world it was rising. It showed that it could stay the course. That's rare. Most nations start strong and then slip, but India kept stacking the wins. From a fragile economy in the 90s to a global tech hub in the 2020s, the country played the long game. It didn't take shortcuts. It didn't buy influence, it earned it. While Pakistan leaned on leverage, geography, religion, military might, India leaned on growth. It bet on its youth, its diversity, and its democratic muscle. And America bet on India because India was betting on itself. You want to know what's powerful? Stability. Not the kind that comes from fear, but the kind that comes from structure. Pakistan's stability has always been borrowed from generals, from foreign aid, from temporary peace. But India built stability from within, through elections, through dissent, through development, through debate. The kind of democracy that might look messy on the surface but runs deep like roots in the ground. America respects that, because America knows that when the storm hits, it's not the prettiest tree that survives, it's the one with the strongest roots. Then there's the economic side. Let's not pretend money doesn't talk, because it screams, and in this game, India shouted louder with every billion-dollar investment, every tech unicorn, every international deal. Pakistan couldn't keep up because it never made economics a national mission. It let politics get in the way. It chose populism over policy. It let itself be defined by debt instead of development and America. America looked at the books and made a decision. It's not personal when the numbers say it all. Now let's talk about trust. You don't build alliances on vibes. You build them on trust. And trust is built when you say what you mean and mean what you say. America gave Pakistan years, decades even, of opportunities to clean house, to stop playing both sides. But when Osama bin Laden was found in Abbottabad, living just down the road from a military academy, that trust, it shattered. You can't play ally and adversary at the same time. The world ain't blind, and America may forgive, but it never forgets. Meanwhile, India played the slow, steady game. It didn't always agree with the U.S. It didn't always do what America wanted, but it never betrayed the handshake. That's a different kind of loyalty, a quiet, consistent kind. That's the kind America respects. And while Pakistan was stuck fighting shadows, whether it was internal dissent, extremism, or its own identity, India was lighting up the future, moon missions, massive infrastructure projects, cutting-edge digital initiatives. It wasn't just about catching up with the West. It was about carving its own path, a path rooted in ancient history but reaching for the stars. That's what America saw, a partner that didn't just want help but wanted to lead. That's the energy the future responds to, not desperation but determination. Now you take that determination and look at how it plays out on the global stage. India's presence in global forums isn't just symbolic. It's strategic. It's earned. It's not about begging for a seat at the table. It's about building your own table if you have to, And that's exactly what India did with the G20 presidency, with the BRICS alliance, with its role in the Quad. India didn't wait for validation. It moved, and the world moved with it. And Pakistan, still trying to hold on to a narrative that the world stopped buying years ago. The future respects those who change the game. Pakistan kept playing the same hand, expecting new results. Religion, regional politics, military posturing. America outgrew that game. The new world runs on innovation, information, and infrastructure. India understood the assignment. It poured resources into digital literacy. It became the back end for the world's front-end tech. It educated its people, expanded its middle class, and allowed entrepreneurship to breathe. That's the fuel of the future. You can't fight it with old weapons or outdated strategies. You gotta build something new. America chose India because India brought more to the table. It wasn't begging. It wasn't manipulating. It was building, and builders are the architects of tomorrow. Pakistan never gave the world a long-term vision, just short-term noise. Every summit, every UN speech was about grievances, complaints, victimhood, but you can't lead the future from a place of resentment. You lead from resolve, and India had that resolve stitched into its fabric. Let's talk culture, influence, soft power. India didn't just conquer minds, it won hearts. Bollywood, yoga, cuisine, festivals, philosophy, spirituality. It gave the world pieces of itself to embrace, and the world embraced them. That's soft power. That's presence. Pakistan couldn't offer that same influence. Its image was clouded by instability, censorship, extremism, and in a world that's consuming stories faster than facts, image matters. Identity matters. India had one that people could connect to, and that connection, that's how alliances begin. And don't ignore the diaspora. Indian Americans rose in every field: tech, medicine, politics, academia. They weren't just integrating, they were leading. CEO of Google and Microsoft, Nobel laureates, senators, these aren't small wins. They're global signals. They showed what India was producing at scale, brilliance. Pakistan had talent too, but it never scaled. It never turned its brilliance into global influence. That's the difference between potential and performance. America chose India because performance beats potential every time. Pakistan stayed the what if. India became the what's next. One was stuck in reactive mode, the other in proactive mode. And in the race for tomorrow, the proactive win. Every single time, and that's the real story behind the shift. It wasn't a betrayal. It wasn't favoritism. It was alignment, values, vision, velocity. India earned its place through a mixture of discipline, diversity, and direction. And Pakistan, it kept gambling on loyalty when the world was looking for leadership. That's a dangerous mistake, even in defense. Look at how the world sees the two. India is developing its own weapons, building indigenous defense systems, exporting to other countries. It's not just protecting its borders. It's becoming a provider of global security solutions. Pakistan is still stuck in reactive strategies, depending on foreign tech and aid. One is setting the standard, the other is chasing it. And America, it doesn't follow. It partners with pace setters. It was never about favoritism. It was about foresight. It was about momentum. The shift didn't happen overnight. It brewed over decades of decisions. One country invested in growth. The other invested in grievance. One country let go of its colonial trauma and looked ahead. The other clung to it like a badge. One built bridges, the other built bunkers. So when the choice came, it wasn't even really a choice. It was the only direction left to go. This world doesn't pause for nostalgia. It accelerates toward what's next. It doesn't reward pity. It rewards progress. And if you're not building something that the world needs, you're already behind. America saw which nation was doing the heavy lifting, which nation was thinking 10 steps ahead, which nation could lead in tech, trade, and trust. The shift was inevitable.